You're tired of getting shredded on defense right now in Madden 26, and everywhere you look to find some D, it's simply not working. Luckily for you, I just showed these 5 tips to this player, and he started locking down immediately, and the same will happen for you so long as you watch all the way to the end and actually implement all 5 of these tips into your next team. So you're absolutely not going to miss out on any of them, and let's jump right into it. Alright, the first thing any great defense needs is a glitch blitz to get the quarterback on the ground and hurry. Let me show you one of the best ones that actually doesn't even require you to blitz. It's only a 4-man rush. Alright, so as we understand, the most popular type of pass protection in this game is going to be base protection. So everyone loves to put their auto pass protection on base. And I want to show you what's going to happen when we call this defense. We're going to come to 3-3 single bug. This was really great at the beginning of the year, but even before base protection was in the game. But what we're going to see is if we spread our defensive line, pass commit our defense, we're going to be flying in the backfield on them literally time and time again, simply from a simple 4-man rush. You see, just like that, he's able to fly in. Like, I don't know what the average time to throw is in the NFL. I would imagine it's, about 2.5 seconds. But like this is way faster. Like our blitz, they barely have time to look up. You simply take away passes over the middle of the field. Like if you call this stunt, they're running base protection, you can honestly call like cover 2 hard flat, and I mean you're just going to be able to sack the quarterback in a hurry, and it's just going to be a huge problem for them. So that's why this defense is so valuable, because everyone loves base protection, right? And so you just have a blitz that directly counters the best pass protection in this game, because I'm really not telling you people don't use base protection. I'm just saying you can't use it against this, that's for sure, because this particular stunt, when they set it up correctly, I mean, you just see how that time there's 2 guys coming in completely free. If you ever get caught on the offensive lineman by accident, make sure you're spamming A on Xbox, X on PlayStation. But it's like, I mean, there's just too much going on. Even if they block their running back to make this 6-on-4 for them, you're still going to notice how one guy's going to come in free and just be able to push his way into the quarterback very, very easily. And so again, all you really would need to do is use her over the middle of the field and kind of take away these routes. And so here's the thing though, there is a direct counter for them to be able to beat this stunt, right? And it's not protection. It's not going to be changed. I mean, they could change their pass protection, but it's just going to be taking the snap and rolling out. Now this time, I mean, like, I don't know what happened there. You're actually not supposed to be able to contain the quarterback with this stunt. I feel like that was a little bit lucky right there. We're going to take it again right here. You can see that's what I'm talking about, where even with 68 speed shooter Sanders, you're going to be able to roll out and pick up easy yards if you're an offense. So that's their counter. That's going to be their counter, is taking this snap, rolling out, and getting outside the pocket. They have a fast quarterback. They're going to be able to pick up endless yards time and time again. So you have to be able to counter that. So obviously our stunt's great against base protection, but if they just start rolling out, they start playing smart, you're going to be in a little bit of a problem. So what you're going to do is you're going to call the left Texas 2-man stunt. So essentially what this is, it's the same stunt as on the left side as the Texas 4-man, but you're going to be able to contain the quarterback off the right side. So really what you're seeing is it's going to be the same thing, where again, this time they're going to take the snap. You're still going to get that really great stunt, like you see right there, very quick pressure on that left side, especially if they're going to use base protection. But now you're actually going to be able to contain the quarterback. Or you're going to be able to contain the quarterback on the right side. So if I take this snap right here, you're going to see how 98 is able to hold his own, and 58 is able to hold his own, and he's going to be able to just hold that contain and keep Sanders or whoever the quarterback is, he's going to be able to keep him in the pocket. So again, spread that defensive line, call the left Texas 2-man stunt so that you can get that quick looping pressure off the left side. And essentially you're getting the best of both worlds. Look at that. It's so easy. It's a 4-man rush, but you're still getting contained. All right, guys. Like, this is something that not enough people talk about, and they don't talk about the reason why this stunt is still valuable, because it was super meta early in the year. It kind of fizzled out a little bit, through some patches and updates, but it's 100% back because of how important and how prevalent base protection is. So that's how you use the Texas 4-man, but also the left Texas 2-man is super valuable when they start counting your stunt by rolling out. Being able to blitz the quarterback is fantastic, but if you're not using the best defensive settings right now, and there's actually some new ones that you probably don't even know what they do, you're absolutely going to be lost on defense. Let me show you the best settings to use right now. Alright, so if we pause the game, we come into options, we come into settings, and then we scroll down. You can do this in the main menu too, or you can do this in the game. But you're going to see how you're going to scroll down until you see gameplay helpers. The settings that you need to make sure are on and that you're using is having heat seeker assist on. Alright, you're going to make sure that you have your window set to at least 100% so you can make those Superman dive tackles in the backfield. Editor, play the clip that I sent you. And you're seeing that clip is a great example of having heat seeker on, because those are the type of tackles that you're going to be able to make when you're able to suction those ball carriers and really bring them down. And the only way to do that is by having your window set at least 100%. But you always want to make sure that you have your switch stick delay on none. There's already enough input delay in this game, and you don't need to add any extra delay for yourself on defense when you're trying to switch stick, something else that I will be talking about later in this video. But now we're going to come into our coaching adjustments, and you're going to be able to do that by pressing RS here, the right stick, or R3 on PlayStation. And so what you're going to see is the cornerback matchups balance, defensive motion response disabled, auto flip defensive play on. These first three settings are all alignment settings. If you don't use this setup right here on balance disabled, you have a chance to have a misaligned defense with your slot corner on the wrong side, your whole defense crisscross, zones following when the receiver's motion. It's just a nightmare. Just solve that with these three settings right here. If we continue scrolling though, RPO pass key, this is going to help you out a little bit. I wish it was a better setting, but it helps you a little bit with your AI focusing on pass coverage while you stop the run on RPOs, which is very, very important, and also is why heat seeker assist being on with 100% is also so valuable. But if we come down to our zone drops, these depend on the situation in the game, who you're playing against, the down and distance, what formation they're in, all of these things. But if you just want to kind of set zone drops and forget them, make sure you're using your flats on default, curl flats on 5, hooks on default, safety depth on close, safety width on pinch, obviously right here. And so what we're going to see is this is going to help you defend the seam. Now, you're playing against the Cleveland Browns, right? But if you're playing against the Miami Dolphins, you're playing against the Chiefs, you're playing against the Jaguars, all of these teams have really fast receivers. So if your safeties aren't fast enough to be able to match those guys step for step up the field, back those guys up, right? Or you're playing franchise. I know a lot of you guys play, CFM. You might need to back your guys up, or you could just leave the setting on default and you're going to be fine. But if you're really trying to defend the seam, right, or you just have, your safeties are fast enough to be able to defend the seam, right, or get back, you're going to see how having your safety depth and close makes it a lot easier for you to get those breakups, get those interceptions, simply because your safeties are going to be much closer to the line of scrimmage, and it's going to be a whole lot harder for them to just take the snap and just throw a pass right up the seam, because again, your safety's closer, he's going to be able to get that knockout and react to the ball. So those are really the best defensive settings, why they're so good, why you need to use them. All right, you need to make sure you heat seeker on so that you can make those dive tackles in the backfield on ball carriers against the run, and then also having your safety depth on close, with your width on pinch if you have good enough safeties so that you can defend the seam. But use those defensive settings and they're going to help you out a whole lot. All right, those first two tips that are going to transform your defense really don't even compare to the final three that I have for you in this video, so make sure you go down below with that subscribe button so you never miss out on any of the future content that I have for you. But if you want those first two tips and the final three that I have for you in written form for you to save on your phone during gameplay, go to the link down below in the pinned comment, join Madden University, where you can get your first month for only $1. It's really a no-brainer. Please don't let $1 be the reason you're still struggling to win games here in Madden 26. All the tips I have for you, you're going to be able to reference each game, and there's going to be no more surfing through YouTube videos to find them. It's really a no-brainer, and I can't wait to help you out. But let's jump right back into the video. All right, one of the most important things that you need to get better with on defense here in Madden 26 is the switch stick. There's no getting around it. It's going to be here for a long time. Let me show you the best way to improve your switch stick ability. All right, so if I have them in a random pass play here, you're just going to notice the power of the switch stick. This is no adjustments for me on defense, right? And you're just going to notice how I'm very easily just going to be able to take away this trash route concept simply by switch sticking around, right? It's so much better than like having they just called I thought this was a fake spike for a second, but anyway, it's like you're just gonna be able to like look at this route concept for them. It's like this isn't exactly the easiest to defend. There's a whole bunch of receivers running in different directions. So if they're gonna call mesh concepts, they're gonna call high-low concepts. That's gonna be tough for you to be able to defend. For example, if they put their tight end on a crosser, they put their X receiver on a drag, which can be put X on a shriek, they put their running back on an in route. You're gonna notice how this is gonna be tough for me to defend because if I come here, you see how that crosser's wide open. If I were to take the crosser, that little in route would have been wide open. So it's essentially like if you're playing against a good offensive player who's really going to force your hand, they're going to call plays and call route concepts where you can't just use the same guy the whole play. You're going to have to switch stick around and try to take away these routes. So again, don't know what play they're in here. They're in verticals, and so we're able to take away this play as it runs across the field, switch stick onto that cloud flat, come up and intercept that pass as the ball's in the air. So really the most important thing is reading the route concept as soon as they're snapping the ball. Right here I see that that's a screen, so I'm very easily able to switch stick and then sniff that play out. So again, they've called many different route concepts, and I've just been switching it around to try to take away all of the different openings that they might have and pounce on it. So you're going to say, BLT, how do I improve my switch stick, right? Because it's really hard to get better with it. Really all I would say is spy off your pass rush in practice mode, hook up a second controller, and do this drill, all right? Have them call a random pass play, and you're going to notice how they're going to have all day to throw. So really what's going to happen is you're going to box their play up, right? But then they're going to start route bouncing. Right, and so essentially what you're trying to do is make sure that at no point in this play can they throw any of these route bounces over the top, right? And this is honestly a very hard drill to be able to do, and if you want to make it even harder for yourself and give yourself some good practice, you can have a friend or a roommate hook up a second controller and actually try to throw to one of these receivers at a point. But you see I'm switching all around the field, taking all of these routes, really trying to make sure that at no point can they throw anything, and eventually obviously you're just going to have them throw the ball away, right, when the receivers really stop running. But if you spend 10-15 minutes in practice mode really trying to get better with that, that's going to heavily improve your switch stick game. But also one thing that I want to mention before I kind of end it off here with the switch stick, it's like if you accidentally get caught on a defensive lineman or you accidentally blitz your user, you can actually switch stick with the D-pad. And this is something that's very important that I talk about in a lot of my defensive ebooks. You can go to the bltforlife21.com if you're interested in getting better on defense with my ebook. But it's like if you blitz your user, whether it's on purpose or on accident, you can still switch stick, but you have to use the D-pad. You see right there how, it worked out perfectly for us. 5 against 5, we get a guy to come in free simply because I switched it with the D-pad instead of the right stick. I don't actually want to user rush him. I simply just want to switch stick off of my man immediately, allow him to just run in free and get that quick, quarterback sack, quarterback pressure. So it's really like, again, if you get caught on a defensive lineman or you accidentally blitz your user, you're going to notice how you can't use the right stick to switch stick. But if you're on PlayStation, you're on Xbox, you can use the D-pad. I start in Hargrave, I blitz, and then I switch stick off to get back into coverage, and now we're able to play lockdown defense. So you can switch stick with the D-pad, and then you can go back to resuming with the right stick. But if you're using a player who's blitzing, whether it's a defensive lineman, a linebacker, in a blitz assignment, you can't switch stick with the right stick. But that switch stick, why it's so valuable, how you can use it, and how to get better with it. All right, getting better with the switch stick is going to help you out a lot. But if you're still not great with quick adjustments, your defense is still not going to be good, and switch stick really might not even be able to save you. Let me show you the best way to get better with your adjustments by working on your quick adjustment game. All right, so here's the example that I'd like to give people of why quick adjustments are so important. So if they come out in a 3-by-1 trips formation, what you're going to notice is if they call any half-decent trip player calls verticals against cover 2, they know that they're going to have this fade wide open on the sideline to their X receiver, or they might have Judy's pass lead inside for a huge gain. So you absolutely cannot run cover 2 against trips. We know that's the case. So if I told you, hey, you can't run cover 2 against trips, go to cover 3. Either you're going to have to change your play to a cover 3, or if you wanted to adjust your play, you would click here, click here, click here, click here, click here. That's 5 clicks to get onto one player. Then you're going to press A, outside third, okay. The ball's already been snapped by now, guys, right? If they put their running back on the in route, they put a flat on the field. You have no flat on this left side, and so now it's just an easy pickup for them, right? So, it goes without being said that you're going to have to be able to make adjustments faster on defense, and really the best way to get better with that, if I reset this play, is by mastering quick adjustments. What you need to understand is you're going to adjust your whole defense from one central player. It's going to be this guy or whoever your user is, right? So a lot of times it's going to be the mid-read defender, a middle linebacker. All you're going to do is understand these three buttons. Y twice or triangle twice on PlayStation is going to be your secondary. So you can press it, boom, boom, Y twice. This is going to vary every single time, open your secondary. So your slot corner, your slot corners, some formations have 6 DBs. This one has 5, some have 4. But you're going to notice how it's like, okay, you can now adjust all of your secondary members by simply pressing Y twice. Pressing D-pad right twice is going to open those linebackers. So you're going to see you have X, you have A, sometimes you have Y, sometimes you even have a fourth linebacker B. And then pressing D-pad left twice is going to open these defensive linemen. So you're going to see you have 4 defensive linemen, some formations have 3. So once you start to build that muscle memory and understand that, okay, well, now I just have to press a certain button twice, I'm going to be able to adjust that position group. So then that's when you start chaining these up, because now I understand that in order to turn this from a cover 2 to a cover 3, I have to be able to adjust all 3 of these guys on this left side. So X, Y, and LB. So I want to put X in an outside third. So I put him in outside third, then I press Y twice again, then I press LB to get onto him. I want to put him in inside third, so I press left stick to the left. Then I press Y twice, I press Y for the 3rd time, and so then I want to put my slot corner in a hard flat. So then I do just like this. And that was me going slow, but that's honestly how much faster it is. And you see how I stayed on Cashman the whole time. So what really would happen is, even if they were to quick snap this play before I was even ready, instead of being caught on Harrison Smith like you're doing, or being caught in this slot corner, I'm still on the same player. And so even if I get quick snap, I'm still able to have a good user over the middle of the field, right? And so now if they snap this ball, I'm able to get all my adjustments off. We have cover 3 on that side. This route concept is going to be guarded very, very well. So again, if I were to reset this play, boom, 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 under 2 seconds, like it's, like a 1.5 seconds really of time that it takes to quick adjust your defense, right? And so this just becomes so valuable, because a lot of people, they're not going to give you a whole lot of time to make adjustments on defense. If you have 3 seconds, that's honestly pretty good, but honestly 3 seconds is more than enough time, right? If I reset this play again, I could do this with my eyes closed, right? I could even man up the running back, right? And so it's just easy once you start to build that muscle memory. So with quick adjustments, understand this. Again, Y twice is your secondary, or triangle twice on PlayStation. D-pad right twice is your linebackers, and D-pad left twice is your defensive line. Then you need to build that muscle memory of, okay, I like to put my safety in an inside third a lot, so I need to know what button that is. I like to put my outside corner in cloud flats a lot. I need to know what button that is, so that you really don't even have to look at that menu. You can do it with your eyes closed like I just did there, simply because I remember and have muscle memory of all the adjustments that I like to make and what position group they're from. All right, so I believe quick adjustments are really the most important part of defense. So again, if you found that tip helpful, make sure you subscribe. Just imagine all the future tips and tricks that I have for you every single day here in Madden 26, and you're absolutely not going to miss out on them. But let me show you the final tip of this video, and that's going to be how to get more stops on the goal line. If you can simply hold people to field goals instead of letting them score touchdowns, you're going to see your win rate drastically increase. Let me show you the best goal line defense right now. All right, so here's a huge problem that I see with a lot of different players, right? They get into these goal line situations, the ball's at the 1 yard line for the offense, they think the drive's over. That is absolutely not the case, because what a lot of offensive players are gonna do is they're gonna come into quarterback sneak, and what you're probably doing is you're just calling goal line 6-2, right? You might be calling base 60, right? And sometimes this will work. But honestly, a lot of the time, at that time, of course, it happens to work. But a lot of the time, these quarterbacks are just going to be able to fall forward for a touchdown, right? Especially if you give them a lane right here and they're just able to fall forward for a touchdown. So you have to be very intentional with what you're doing, on the goal line. You never want to give them a spread defensive line look, right? Because if they call quarterback sneak, a lot of the time they're just going to be able to fall forward for a touchdown. And right, so base 60 or a lot of these different goal line defenses, they're not as reliable as what I'm about to show you here. This really is the best goal line defense to use, and it's something that not enough people know about, all right? So we're going to have them, call quarterback sneak. This also works if they call like fullback dive, for example. But all we're going to do, we're going to come into goal line 5-3, and we're going to come to our packages, and we're going to scroll until we find the speed package, right? This is going to get your fastest defensive lineman out there, and really that's just going to allow them to get off blocks just milliseconds earlier, which really can be the difference between getting a goal line stop and not. But here's the problem. You see with this play, when you call it like this, you see how that gap's open for the quarterback to just fall over his right shoulder and score a lot of the time right there. Credit to 97. That's why you have the speed package on the field, get your fastest guys out there. But a lot of the time, you're going to be able to see he can just fall forward into that gap, right? And sometimes he'll be able to score. So really what you're trying to do is pinch your defensive line and come stand right here in this gap. Right, you want to pinch your defensive line, then you want to take your user and stand as close to the line of scrimmage as possible without being offside. Because what you're going to see is essentially the quarterback is going to have nowhere to go. As soon as he takes that snap, he's literally just going to run into your user so often. So again, D-pad to the left, then you're going to press left stick down to be able to pinch your defensive line. That's the key adjustment here. And then you're just standing right here, and you can see, I mean, in practice mode, you have a blue line. I don't know if you necessarily do in a game, but you're just trying to make sure you're not offside and you're as close as possible, because again, you see how the quarterback's he's just going to run into your user every time. It's so much more reliable than relying on your defensive lineman to go make that play, because there's going to be times where the quarterback can fall forward. But right here, boom, I'm not offsides and I'm just right in that gap. Sanders takes the snap and I'm just wrapping him up, putting him to the ground every time. Now, here's what's going to happen is they might flip their play. So now Sanders is going to the other side. So if I were to stand in the same spot, it's not going to, it's just not going to work for me, because now he's going to the other gap. Now again, you see the defensive lineman makes the play. But if they want to flip their play, now you just flip your gap. Because it's a dead giveaway that you're just looking to see what side the tight end's on. And then if they flip, then you go to the other side. So now I'm standing in the same spot. I wrap up Sanders every single time. So really, when they get the ball down to the 1 yard line, if they want to run goal line, you need to make sure that you're in the best possible goal line defense. And again, it doesn't really matter if they call like fullback dive, power O, like you see right here, they're going to call a power O run. All right, and so we're back here, but if they do call like a power O run instead of the quarterback, you're just going to see how now your defensive linemen come in free, because when you move your user over the top of that center, you're basically creating flame. You're now putting flame icons over the top. Look at this. I stand right here, right, as close as possible. Now there's flame icons over the top of my defensive linemen, and so that means that they're going to come in free a lot of time, especially against like PA Power O. So it's really like, this is the best goal line defense. Nothing really compares to it. You're able to, stand right in that gap and make it to where if the quarterback takes the ball, you're just going to be able to hit him down as soon as he, takes the snap. And if it's someone else, you're just going to get those defensive linemen to come in free. But don't give up when they get the ball inside the 1 or the 2 yard line. Get in your best goal line defense and get that goal line. All right, if you found any of those 5 defensive tricks helpful here in Madden 26, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down defensive tips and tricks just like this every single day here in Madden 26, and you're absolutely not going to miss out on any of them. But if you want all 5 of these tricks to save on your phone during gameplay, so you never have to go surfing through a YouTube video, go to the link down below the pinned comment or comment Vault to join Madden University. It's really the best way to learn this game and get better with it, because again, you don't have to ever go surfing for tips. They're right at your fingertips on your phone. But if you want 5 offensive tricks to help you out here in Madden 26, check out this video. I'll see you over there. Peace.